The deadline for the Toronto Blue Jays to extend Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is over, and there is no deal in place for now. He spoke out and he had some interesting things to say to the media about what went wrong in the extension talks and how far away the Blue Jays truly were to reaching his number that he had in mind. So we'll break that down and much more on this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Welcome in, everybody, to 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vrionis, and the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. saga is going to continue into the regular season, or at least that's what we think as Toronto Blue Jay fans. But before we get into everything that went down last night and into the early morning hours today, make sure to hit that subscribe button because a large percentage of you who are watching these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So shout out to you guys for all the support, but I'm not going to lie to you. This is kind of a gut-wrenching video that I'm going to have to make for a lot of Blue Jay fans out there. And you've been in my comments saying that this was not going to get done. I was a little bit more optimistic than some of you out there, but I still have some hope that this wasn't a hard deadline and this wasn't a deadline that is the end-all be-all. Vladdy has a number in mind. He said he wants to be a Blue Jay. Maybe if the Jays get close to that number or even hit that number, I'm sure he won't think twice before signing that deal. But yeah, this is the news right here. Star slugger Vladdy Jr. and the Blue Jays did not reach an agreement on a contract extension before his Monday night deadline. So obviously, I mean, this was the news that no Blue Jay fan wanted to hear, and there's no positive way to spin this either. This sucks. And you already have John Heyman, who's one of the more notable reporters around Major League Baseball. He's coming out and giving his early favorites on who is going to sign Vladdy next free agent season. So it sucks. And I'm trying to find the silver lining here, but it's just not going to happen. So at the moment, this is a horrible situation for the Blue Jays to be in. Their two best offensive players are heading into free agency after this season, and they're big parts of this equation. They are the two biggest parts of this equation, in my opinion. The Blue Jays, who are starved for offense, who haven't been able to accomplish anything, need to keep these homegrown stars in town. Now, Vlad seems more likely than Bo at this point, but Vlad still seems unlikely to remain a Blue Jay as of right now. Now, he's saying all the right things. He said, well, this was a pretty standoffish kind of interview that Vladdy had, but he did say something that maybe you could take as something positive towards the end of it, which I'll show you in a little bit, but this was the first quote. So Vlad was asked how close they were in a sense, and they had their numbers. I had my numbers. That was the first quote. The second quote is, at the end of the day, I know my value and I'll stick with it. And then Vladdy was asked if the Blue Jays were close in negotiations. And the reason why I say this was sort of a standoffish kind of interview was the fact that Vladdy was using a translator, which is something that he's been trying to get away from in the past year or so. He's been conducting his own interviews in English, so he hasn't been using the services of Hector LeBron, who is the translator on the Blue Jays for most of the Latin players. But he decided to use a translator here. And then there was a follow-up question after something that he answered in Spanish, saying, were you guys close in the negotiations? Vladdy took that upon himself, didn't even use his translator, and he said no. So that's basically the scoop that you guys need to hear about. Vladdy and the Blue Jays not yet close on an extension. Now, the only way that I could think of the Blue Jays getting a pass for this is that Vladdy is asking for the moon and stars, and he's asking for the planets to align and everything for it to fall into place. And maybe there's no give and take here. Maybe the Blue Jays kept upping their offer and it wasn't good enough for Vladdy. So as it stands right now, he's a Blue Jay for one more year, and beyond that, we don't know. So it sucks. It really sucks, and it's it's a tough pill to swallow as a Blue Jay fan, especially knowing everything that they've been through over the past couple of years. They've been the laughing stock of Major League Baseball the past couple of off seasons. But the silver lining that you may be able to take away from this is I want to be Blue Jay for the rest of my career, but it's free agency, it's business. I'm going to have to listen to 29 more teams. Now, I don't think Vladdy is going to listen to all 30 teams. That doesn't seem realistic. Most high profile free agents, frankly, all high profile free agents, don't take a meeting with every team. So I think it's the Blue Jays, and then it's going to be a combination of the Mets, the Yankees, I mean, you got to throw the Dodgers in there, I guess, the Red Sox. It's going to be a tumultuous time for the Blue Jays next offseason. Maybe they can work something out. Maybe they can go to Vlad and say, I know you don't want to negotiate, but we're not here to negotiate. This is our number. That's it. If you want to take it, you can take it. If not, we will let you test free agency. It's no problem. So I guess that is another avenue that they could take here, but there's no positive way to spin this. It sucks. Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro continue to alienate the fan base. And when does it stop? When does this nightmare end for Blue Jay fans? Does Vladdy spend the rest of his career here like he's been vocal about wanting to do? Or does he end up having his prime seasons play out on another team and rubbing salt in the wound of Blue Jay fans everywhere around Canada and wherever they support them from? So that'll wrap it up for this episode. I mean, pretty disheartening, if there's a word I could use. Disheartening would be the word, because we all wanted this to get done. We all thought that there was a chance it could get done. Yet here we are, still nothing concrete, and nothing to indicate that it will get done in the off season. So that'll wrap it up. Thanks again for making it this far. Sorry we wouldn't have some more positive news to report on today, but stay tuned for tomorrow's episode, and I'll see you all.